That's a tough question.
What is a man?
A man?
What is a man?
Everything.
Okay, God created you a man and makes you a man. Whether you are a what we call a good man or not, okay, that's another totally different question.
We're so tempted to bend our character to get our way. Being a man is being selfless. And being a man is being a person of service before self.
Definition of a man to me, one who stands on his own, takes care of his family, values, morals, does right by, does what he says he's gonna do. I mean, that's my definition of a man.
That you don't make excuses for anything, because at the end of the day, the world don't care about the excuses of a man. That's basically what my definition was, and that's what it was taught to me.
Someone, I feel like this man, someone to take care of their business, someone that can, just make sure everything's okay. Good. Everybody got mistakes, but
Someone that already has gone through life experiences. A person that doesn't doubt himself. A person that knows that has a higher purpose than just himself.
It's challenging. It's challenging. Today's world is not what yesterday's world. Yesterday's was easy to be a man. Take care of your house, respect your wife, respect your children, else the link. Today's world is so many layers to be a man to, it's almost unexplained.
Acts out his beliefs. It's the idea that if you don't carry out your beliefs, then you don't truly believe in that. So just being faithful and doing what you have to do to
really is a pillar of the community.
I have a story. I was at work and I'm jamming Beyonce. I think it was like Me, Myself, and I or something. And I'm jamming. At first, right? All the guys are kind of like, not really saying nothing. Like, man, get on so around, like that. But once they saw that I was doing it and the chicks was feeling it, then all of a sudden, they know every word. So I'm like, you've been listening to Beyonce, but you do it in your car by yourself. Or you do it at your house when you're alone, but you'll never do that in front of a girl or another man. Why? Be free. Be comfortable in your own skin. Like I said, with the definition of a man is whatever you say it is. You know what I mean? So, because we are so complex. Human beings, period. But men are also. But these barriers that we've created that don't make sense, that a man can't do this, a straight man can't do this, a straight man can't do that looks sus, that look that, is put constraints on our expression. Because a lot of us are artists at heart. You know what I mean? An artist, you have to be free to express yourself the way you see fit. You know what I mean? So that would be my biggest advice, is to learn to be comfortable in your own beautiful black skin. How did your upbringing affect how you interact with women in relationships?
They loved each other dearly. I saw them kiss often, hold hands often. I saw them flirt with each other. But I also saw, like a good Hispanic family, saw all the things that I picked up on before I gave my life to Jesus, which was my dad flirted. He would flirt with women that weren't his wife. He probably didn't mean anything by it, or maybe he did. I also saw the aspect of, when they're arguing, the woman was hyperly submissive. And that caused the confusion of what submission is and what honoring submission is. And there's a difference.
Just my family in general on both sides has always been worship a woman of what they're worth, My dad didn't have a father. He was raised around all women, so all he knew was to treat a woman right. My mother had 3 sisters and 1 brother, so she was surrounded by women, and that has been put upon me to see nothing but strong women. So my family and my parents and relationships it's impacted me to, you know, treat a woman right, treat a woman respectfully, because that's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever seen. So that has been an impactful part on me, that to be that respectful man, to always be grateful to the woman, to always, you know, treat them the right way, because I know that how powerful a woman can be, you know, how great they can be in a relationship. So that has been impactful on me. I haven't seen so much disrespecting to a woman in a relationship or anything like that. So I'll go off what I know. And since that's all I've been seeing and always grew up with, and I know that to work because my parents are still married, so I'm gonna go with the formula that I know and see working my entire life.
I didn't see a lot of togetherness in my parents. I didn't see a lot of love. You know, all I saw is two people raising kids. You know, and I think that's one of my biggest struggles. You know, that I'm mostly about my kids, my relationship second, and I haven't been able to shake that. You know,
I think I even ruined. I probably think God had me in a couple of females' lives to be there for purposes He had me there for, that had nothing to do with sex. But since, you know, it's kind of hard once you have that image, you know, because it's like you're battling yourself. On one hand, like I said, you have the women in my family, and, you know, what they instilled in me and what I saw from them, and the positive attributes. You know, you have that side, and you have the side fighting that you were that the men kind of influenced. So you have both of those fighting. So I was always kind of saw women as women, you know, genuine friendships, but also there was that underlying, like, wanting to have sex, wanting it to be more, wanting to kind of push the boundary and, you know, kind of go beyond. So I would say that both of those, I had both of those influences, positive and negative.
My mother is on her 8th marriage, maybe 7th marriage, one of these. And so I haven't seen families work. I haven't seen, you know, in my mom's side of the family, I don't know on my father's side. I haven't seen relationships be like great and long standing. But also, I never doubted that could exist. So I'm not someone who's like, I never saw it, so I didn't think it was possible. It's like, I knew it was possible. I know it's possible. And so what I've seen, what I've been through, and who I am, right? So my family was shit, but like I was telling them who I am. Yeah, it hasn't really influenced my relationships. I think it influenced my ability to be openly queer, and live an openly queer life. And so that impacted, you know, dating men. But I think outside of that, and maybe that's where it is. Yeah, it impacted my ability to date as an adult male.
Ooh. I was raised by a single mother, so it was some things that I couldn't have got from her that I would have got from a man that could have made, you know, some of the decisions I make with women a little bit better.
If you have an unexpected baby, do you feel pressure to marry that person?
No, I've had multiple unexpected babies. I mean, the pressure to marriage, I'm not real keen or big on the word marriage or society's definition of it, honestly. I mean, I love what I love, and me personally, I don't love marriage, but I love the idea of love, but I'm not gonna let a baby pressure me into saying, oh, this person is my life partner, or things like that, because I mean, things happen, so.
No, I didn't feel pressure to marry her, but the pressure comes at that point. You have to make sure that she's all right in lieu of making sure that you're okay. So, you know, at some point it's more like you're a team more than having to marry. It's like you'll always be family or something, you know, more so.
No, you don't. No. You can always be a father without being married to the mother. Now, do I advise that? No. But I do feel that every man should be in his child's life. You man enough to lay there and make it, be man enough to take care of it.
That's old school thinking. I think you want to spend your life with someone that you feel comfortable with, not because of a mistake or something that occurred to you. You gotta take responsibility, regardless what happened, regardless anything. It's your son, and you gotta provide for that and take care of their mom as well. Part when you want sex, but your partner does not. What do you do?
That's a great question. What do I do? Probably go hoop. Exercise. Release those endorphins. Go on a walk. Especially in the evening time, it's the perfect time for a walk.
Big. They like you to beg, you know that, right?
Yeah. So it's that having to be patient, which I haven't always been, which I probably need to be more, is being patient and understanding that she's still trying to figure out things when it comes to that world. And and then sometimes women just don't want to do it. We all the time, like, we see our woman get out the shower, we ready. It's like, ooh. But I do get a little frustrated sometimes, but I'm working on myself. The Lord ain't through with me yet.
Keep my hands to myself. I think I do try to push the button a little with like joking, but other than that, I really don't do anything. I'll go home and handle it myself. I don't know if it's that bad.
Why do men cheat?
Because monogamy is not real. And the reason why we have these really weird requirements on people, like, our spouses can go and work, 9 hours a day or 12 hours a day and sweat like a dog and spend all his time with, it's like we value the wrong things. And I feel as though I hate cheating because, like, cheap, because it's not a real word, it's not a real thing. There's some agreements. If the agreements were established, then yes. But if we hadn't had that discussion of like what a relationship is and what I need, what you need, do you need monogamy? If no, not, then you need. So I think I think men cheat because monogamy is not real.
I think it kind of goes back to the first thing which I said is a big factor, which is trust. They maybe seen an example of a relationship that had minimum trust on both ends, and then two, that's kind of how they feel about the relationship they're in.
The most prevalent that I've seen is, to be honest with you, is men have been given poor examples of what a man of character, a man of honor looks like. And so the more manly, the more promiscuous, the more flirtatious, the more that's a man, a pimp, right? They don't ever see the part of like honoring their spouse or their girlfriends and just desiring one woman. I think that takes greater strength. The second reason is a lot of men have really, really poor self-esteem. They have a very low self-image of themselves. One of the things that's really foreign to me is porn addiction. But since it's foreign, I've lent an open ear and an open heart to hear the cases of people struggling with porn, and you see the same story over and over. And I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but they were fat, they were nerds, they were picked on, they were bullied, no one paid attention to them, and when they grew older, they got unnerdy, they lost weight, they learned how to dress, they learned how to talk, and all of a sudden, they get attention from women, and they feel validated by being promiscuous with someone that is not their girlfriend, fiance, or wife. The third reason I think really is it's a kind of like a trendy thing to do amongst males. They think it's cool to talk about how they got a side piece. I mean, it's in rap songs. I mean, I make jokes about it. I always say my wife is my main piece and my side piece. So it's even in the culture, so I think those are the main reasons men cheat.
Would you say relationships get easier or harder the longer you're in them?
easy doesn't exist. Doesn't get harder either. I think they just evolve. Unless you're a person without further aspirations, ambitious, you're just gonna be stagnated. So relationships, they just have to evolve. You have to be willing to evolve as different life phases occur.
I think we were actually talking about this the other day, me and Valencia. The longer you're in a relationship, the harder it is to sustain what you call love. I think when your foundation of your relationship is based off of love, I think it's kind of easier for it to fall apart because love does fade, but also comes back. So it's kind of hard to keep a balance in a relationship when it's just built off of love. So I think a lot of things you have to do as far as the work to keep a relationship going the way it needs to go. That's the hard part. Communication, learning your spouse or learning your significant other, and things like that are key to keeping a relationship afloat. But I think from the conception of a relationship to its end, everything in the middle, as long as it goes, gets harder and harder.
That's that's a two-part question. It does get easier because you become you know each other more. But at the same time, it gets harder to keep it as spicy. It's very easy to get complacent in a relationship. So you have to do what it takes to keep that relationship spicy.
A relationship can go the way, just like life, the way you want it to go. It's all about perspective. If you go in it with the perspective or if you go in with the mindset that this is going to be hard, every day is going to be hard, and it's going to be hard. But if you do the things and put in the work, which I've heard like older people say before I got into like these relationships, you got to put in the work for real. The more work you put in, the better results are going to be. So I feel like it could be easier or harder depending on your perception and your perspective and how you do things.